So the first thing to just remind ourselves of, fundamental theorem of calculus. This is very straightforward in essence. It basically is something we use a lot in year 13 in the background. It's kind of exploiting the knowledge of derivatives and integrals being the reverse of each other. So all it is basically saying is that the derivative of a function is, if you integrated it, you would get the original function. So derivatives and integrals undo each other. So basically, if I have the derivative and then I integrate that derivative, I get back to the original function. That is the fundamental theorem of calculus. So it just takes me back to the original function plus what? Plus hopefully C, potentially, if we're doing indefinite integration. There is a constant that could emerge. So we've got to look out for that. Right, let's power through. Now, really sort of basics to start with, looking at like reversing the process. If we've got each of the following. Now, if I have f of x differentiated is 1, then I should know that the integral, do you know what? I'm going to use green integral, color code it. Integral of 1 with respect to x is x plus c. So it undoes that process. Likewise, if I integrated 2x with respect to x, I would get x squared plus c. Okay, now in general, if I integrate x to the n here, I'm going to get 1 over n plus 1 of x to the n plus 1 plus c. And just a key reminder with constants, if I integrate a constant, I'm going to get, sorry, if I integrate 0, I'm going to get a constant, which is basically like why the constant always appears. That's what we're talking about. So let's look at some basics that you should hopefully all be confident with, because we've got a lot further to go with this, but just almost like a refresher of year 12. Plus, I mean, you shouldn't need long for this, but let's give this a go. And it's asking for a specific point. So I think like 40 seconds or so, we'll quickly whiz through it. Give it a try. And then we're going to go through some standard integrals that we should know and start looking at the process of recognition. Right, so you've got the derivative and you want to work back to the original function. So 2 marks should be quite quick. Integration to undo differentiation. Here we go. So if you integrate both sides with respect to x, the dy dx becomes y. So we get y is equal to the integral of 4 minus x squared. Now, if we work this out and put it together, the integral of 4 is 4x. The integral of minus x squared is a minus a third x cubed plus c. Now, the key thing to remember is you were given a value to sub in, which you must make sure you sub in and then solve. And so we're going to get 10 is equal to 4 lots of 6 minus a third lots of 6 cubed plus c. Rearrange, find c, and you get c is equal to 58. And then you've got the exact curve. Don't forget to state the final answer. Now, let's look at integration of trig and exponential functions and just some standard integrals that we can be aware of. Okay, so this really, really does mean we need to be confident at differentiation so that we can reverse the process. So